We're here at Mill City Roasters in Northeast Minneapolis. We're really excited to finally put out a Yule Log video. We've been developing holiday blends at Mill City for, I think this is our 4th year of doing this. We do pre-blends. The first year we did it, we just did one, and it was the Yule Log. And then the 2nd or 3rd year, we added on some others. And so now we're doing no blind and coal. One of the other things we've been doing too is adding in profiles and just some data to help the roasters achieve a nice holiday blend right off the get-go. So we've had them up for sale for, I think, around 4 weeks, the greens pre-blended. I think we just got a profile up for Yule Log. Now we're actually going to do a roast along where we're going to roast that profile. I have the parameters all set up. We're going to work on the 1.5 kg digital machine. And I've actually did a practice roast just so I could do my best to hit this roast right on the numbers. We're looking for green to yellow transition at 445. So it's kind of middle of the road, green to yellow transition. The next phase is actually quite long, in my opinion, looking at the profile. I created 3 or 4 different profiles for Yule Log this year, and I cupped them all out, and I've been kind of sitting on them, letting them rest, cupping them, revisiting them, and I finally decided on this one as my ideal. So the mid phase is actually 455. I broke that out because I wanted to just have that as a number, but it's 940 to crack. So 445 to green to yellow, 940 to first, which would be a 455 mid phase. And then we're looking at plus 2 minutes. So pretty traditional development phase. We're not going super far. We're looking at going into development phase or right around first. I'm looking for around a 14 ROR. If I'm achieving a 14 ROR going into the development phase, the fuel settings and the airflow settings that I have set up for the roast, it should run the profile pretty much to spec for development phase. So that's the basics of the profile. Some of the other things that really aren't going to be completely machine transferable, but little tips, just little other tidbits that are part of this profile. Just double checking my charge temp. 385 is going to be our charge temp. So we're going to charge at 385. I'm going to use low air at charge, 0 gas. At 1 minute, which that's just the capacity of our roaster. Our roaster is very powerful, so I can leave the roaster off for a minute and still achieve my green to yellow transition time, which is 445. Actually, my first roast went a little early. So if I had to guess, this will probably go a little long because I'm making adjustments to try and extend out that phase. So then it's looking like at 415, a little bit before green to yellow transition, cross our fingers, I'm going to increase my airflow to medium, and I'm going to lower my gas. I'm going to go in at 1 minute with 2.2 kPa. Doesn't mean a lot to you all. It's about 60% of overall max fuel on this machine. Then at 415, when I'm increasing my airflow pre-green to yellow transition time, I'm also lowering my gas. I'm going to lower my gas by about 50%, I'm going to say, at that point. Then I'm hoping to hit green to yellow transition at 445. That's the goal, plan for the profile. And then at that point, there's not a lot of adjustments in that mid phase. I've already run my gas down. I've increased my airflow, so I should set up the profile or the roasting system to run that profile pretty accurately. So then it's looking like around 910. I'm going to increase my airflow to high. I'm going to use my high airflow setting around 910 with first crack coming around 940. That way I'm increasing my airflow pre-crack. Then as crack occurs, I have a higher airflow setting that's going to remove some of that moisture and kind of minimize some of the volatility of the first crack phase and keep my rate of rise more consistent. At that point, I do have a marker to lower the gas again by like maybe 1/10 to 3/10, and that's kind of more just where I'm at with my rate of rise. That's why I brought that up a little earlier. That's something I'm also adding into my phase markers or my adjustments is a little rate of rise marker to help me know how I should make that adjustment. If I'm above 16 ROR going into the roll, I'll probably lower my gas early. If I'm at 14 ROR going into crack, I won't lower my fuel. I'll leave it as is. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what I want. So I cupped this coffee the other day, and it came out, this profile came out exactly to spec according to what I would kind of think of this coffee as being. My first note was chocolate, milk chocolate. My second note was berry, and my third note was spice. And that is exactly the context that I created this cup in. First and foremost, some kind of chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, German chocolate. There's a very heavy chocolatey note in Yule Log. And then there should be a nice red fruit berry note. So not really strawberry, not really raspberry, maybe a little cherry, even though cherry's not a berry, you know what I mean? But just a nice berry note, red berry note. And then it kind of finishes with like a soft, spicy quality. Maybe the like fleeting smell of like fruitcake. That kind of spicy quality that fruitcake creates, And I feel like those 3 flavors are really the flavors that create Yule Log. You know what I mean? And that's really what I'm going for in those flavors. So just to jump to the blend, just so you guys know, this is a blend of basically the base is Brazil. That brings a lot of chocolate and a little bit of fruit. You know, it's a natural Brazil. And then we're using a PNG, a Papua New Guinea, that's very citrusy and spicy. So that's adding in some, you know, unique orange qualities, some citrus notes, but then also that spice finish. It's nice for that. And then, of course, we need the berry, natural Yurgashef this year. Really high-end, beautiful red fruit, floral, natural. So then that's in there, and that's bringing the red berry note. We're doing a full 1.5 kg or 1,500 grams right here. 387, so I'm going to load the hopper. And then and that's 385. So at 385, let's go. All right. So now I'm just going to verify that everything's set. Oh, I made one mistake. I had my airflow at medium. I'm sorry, everyone at home. I always like to set my airflow to my low or my starting airflow setting as I'm coming down to temp. I feel like that gives me a better perspective of the actual thermal battery and where I'm at with charge. You know what I mean? So I'm going to imagine that I have a little more energy in the system than I thought. You know what I mean? So the first roast I did in a practice roast went a little long, and so I made some adjustments to shorten that roast up. But now with this different airflow setting I use for the in-between, we might have a little bit higher thermal battery charge, and that could be the thing I need to speed this roast up a little bit, so we could end up having this roast go a little fast. My gut's kind of telling me right now to roast your gut, but we're just going to ride it out. We're going to stick to the plan and just see how it goes. So I just hit the gas. Now we're going to hear it. Come on, there it goes. Using 2.2 kPa, 2200 kPa. So I'm just going to note that actually we're sticking to plan. So 1 minute, we did 2.2. On the 1.5 kg, I think I said that I'm running a full charge. So a full charge, 1.5 kg. On this roaster right now, I'm running 40 hertz for the drum, which that doesn't mean much to you all at home. But what it does, what you would want to know is it's 60 RPMs. So we're exactly at 60 RPMs on the drum with the full 1.5 kg charge. So that's so just some of the other parameters of the roaster. And just so you know too, 17 is my low airflow hertz settings, 21 is my medium, and 26 is my high for this machine today. On the previous roast, I did do a fuel lowering around 330, getting ready for green to yellow transition, trying to slow that down because I have like if you guys picked up on that, the mid phase is longer than the dry phase. So I really needed to kind of be aggressive to slow that down going into green to yellow so I could expand out that phase. And so the first roast, I had a 330 marker where I lowered fuel, but then it took me to dry end long. And so I took that out of this roast now. So we're just going to ride with a little higher fuel to try and get to our 445 marker. We'll see how that works. Like I said, I'm a little worried though because I had my airflow set a little high for warm up, but we'll see. Okay, I'm just noticing a little bit of color change, not a lot, just a little bit. We're at 319, so we're about a minute and a half from our goal for green to yellow, and we're about 45 seconds from our airflow increase and our gas lowering. And that's really working within, you know, thermal dynamics of roasting. You know, as we roast, the beans become lighter. They don't contact the steel as much. They're not basically gaining energy from contact. You know what I mean? They're going to hang out in the loft more, so we're going to increase our airflow to deliver more energy to the roast. And then at the same time, we're going to lower our fuel so that we can gain control over this roast as these beans get more delicate as they roast. We only have about 10 more seconds to green to yellow, so okay, we're not getting there early, that's for sure. All right, I think I'm going to call that 4:55. Okay, so we were 10 seconds late. I'm okay with that. All right, I'm going to make that marker. So I also, this roast, we're running a little bit higher fuel across the whole roast. So the fact that we went a little late into our marker worries me a little bit, but I know we're running a little higher fuel, and the last roast went a little long too, so I think we're okay for the mid phase. We're going to kind of trust the roaster gut right now and ride that out a little bit. So now we're set on basically this is the final setting to roll into first. We'll kind of navigate the terrain a little bit. So if I notice we're running fast, I might lower the fuel, or running slow, I might increase the fuel. But at this point, there's not a lot we can do to manage this roast other than stay on track. And it's 6:30. This is the part in the roast where I always get really nervous because there's not a lot we can do. You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of data we can harvest. You know, we can look a little bit. I did record first crack at 387 on the PID, the first roast. So that can be a verification as we get closer to that temperature. So now we're at 7 minutes. That's roughly, or let's say 6:55, so almost 3 minutes from our goal. We're at 343. 387 is our crack, and we're at 20 ROR. And our ROR is gonna be running down. So 3 minutes would be 60. 60 plus 347 would be 407. That's 20 degrees above where we're gonna hit crack. So that's telling me we're gonna hit crack early. If I just do general kind of like, you know, simple math. So we're 32 degrees right now at 740 from crack. We're at an 18 ROR, and we want to go about 2 more minutes. It's about right. We're going to slow down a little bit. So I'm going to lower from 1 kPa to 0.8 at crack. So if I'm feeling like we're moving a little fast in the next minute, I'm going to do that right at that moment. We're at 8:45. I'm going to do my lowering. I was at 9:10 to do my lowering, but I think at 8:45 I might do it. Yep, I am. So 8:45, I'm going to go to 0.8. And that's going to be what I'm going to run. So 0.8 at 8:45. I put that in there. So now at 9:10, I'm going up to my high airflow. I've already lowered my gas to my setting that I want for the development phase. So we're getting close. 9 minutes. We're at 19 ROR. So we're a little bit early. I want it to run down a little bit. I can hear some pops popping off. You know what I mean? So now I'm going to do my 26 right now, hoping to extend out that time and maybe delay the first crack happening a little early. I'm going to call that right there, 9:38. So we're a little bit early. So now we're looking basically for 2 minutes of development. So 10:38 and then 11:38. That first roast, I really liked the final temp, and that was 412. We're running a little high ROR, so I'm going to bring down the gas again to 0.4, and that would be at 10:10. 14 ROR right now. I'm going to turn the fuel off. I just turned the fuel off at 10:42. We only have like 50 seconds to go, basically. So I'm not really that worried that I'm going to like drag my roast down or cause some kind of conflict within the last phase of, or the last moments of development. I think we're nice on track. Looking for 11:38, 412 is our goal development phase to just nail it. And we're at 410. We're at a 12 ROR, and we're 11:06. So we're very close. I'm thinking we're probably going to, if we're going to go 11:38, I'm going to guess we're going to be at 414. Increase my airflow to 28, just a little mini increase. And then we're going to get my stirs going, and we're going to get ready to drop this. We're going to write out the number exactly. 11:38, bam, 415. That went to 11:38, 415. So we went a couple degrees beyond our goal temp for the first roast, but that first roast was a test roast on this machine. And it did look a little light in the tray for the Yule logs that I've been developing. So that was part of the reason why when I saw it going a little bit faster towards the end, I was okay with that a little bit. I know in the past when I was cupping these, the ones that ended up going a little shorter and a little darker had a little bit more clarity of cup. The ones that went a little longer, a little bit lighter, they kind of became a little more muddled. I would call this kind of like a medium, you know, maybe it's on the lighter side of medium, but it's pretty much like a medium roast. So for you all at home, if you're thinking that's a little bit, you know, I want to kind of do Yule log dark, you know what I mean? I think that's a great idea. What I would really do to the profile is just keep that same rate of rise, you know, in development phase and just add on another minute. So I wouldn't have brought my fuel down. I wouldn't have turned my fuel off at that point because I had like a 12, 14 ROR in that last 50 seconds because I would have wanted to go another minute and a half, let's say, to go to dark. So I would have kept that fuel setting as is. I would have let it roll another, you know, minute and a half at that rate of rise. We probably would have gotten to, let's say, if we could have extended that out to like 14, 15 minutes and maybe only brought it to like 430, 433, and then anything in between. You know what I mean? You could go lighter than this. This Brazil is really clean and nice, and it's fresh crop. So it's a clean Brazil. So you could potentially roast the Yule log this year light, but you might run up into like a little bit too much nuttiness. I really like the medium for having that flavor profile that I explained to you all earlier, chocolate, berry, spice. And then if you go a little darker, I'm thinking you're probably going to invert the flavor profile a little bit, and it would probably be, depending on how dark you go, chocolate, spice, berry, or spice, chocolate, berry. And berry will be the last. You know what I mean? Because at the darker roast levels, that nuance flavor will get hidden a little bit more. So, you know, just in case you're at home thinking that I just scorched this coffee or it's on fire, or maybe that I'm not even roasting. Oh yeah, that's nice. I can't see the camera, but that should be pretty solid. Okay. All right. I really like doing these pre-blends for our customers. It means a lot for us to be able to provide something special to our customers so they can provide something special to their customers. This has been a funny year, obviously, for all of us, you know what I mean? But I think we still have a lot to be thankful for this year. I really want to thank the Mill City team for helping us execute Yule Log and the holiday blends this year. I really want to thank Serena for allowing me to use her beautiful pumpkins as the ambiance for our Yule Log setting, and everyone else as part of the Mill City team. And I want to thank you all for caring about coffee, for caring about us, for caring about everybody. So have a good day.